right, this boot barn drop-off for Roadie is going to be a 32-mile drop-off, 47 minutes, 8:14, and I don't remember how much it was for. 8:14 p.m. is the time for the drop-off. I don't see, it's going 32 miles. I think it's $26. Let me double check. I just checked it right now. It's $16.96. It's about $17 for 32 miles. See, that's a ripoff. It should be about $26 to $30 for this drop-off. So, you know, what can you do? 50 cents a mile might rear end. Look at that. Jackpot.com. Goodness gracious. Yeah, this is like something I want to look into for some film stuff for Deep on Ellum later on. And I ain't touching that script unless I already have funding. I'm already in the game. Look at this right here. Looks kind of Dallas, but this is not even Dallas. This is Heritage Parkway on the outside of Fort Worth. But that looks very Dallas right there. And this bridge is easy to access and stuff. Might be easier than trying to get Dallas shots. Accident reported ahead. Coincidence? I think not. That's what the little movie guy said. Coming up on a Carvana commercial. I'll be happy to do Deep on Ellum. It's got a bunch of young ladies in it from like 18. Well, actually, in real life, they were between 16 and 17, maybe. Yeah, everyone was about 16 and up. It's like a dark 16 Candles, mostly moment to moment. It's mostly a film about moment to moment. It's not all really based on plot. There is a little bit of character in there, but it's more of a moment to moment movie. There's Carvana right there. So what happens is you go online, you order online, then they send you the token in the mail, and then you take it to Carvana, you put it in this little slot, and it dispenses the car. They do it all day long. Can you imagine a dispenser making $30,000, $40,000 per dispense? You know, Carvana makes a lot of money. And you see them out there. They'll have these little plates right here. It'll say Carvana on it. People buy it. They don't want to deal with the middleman. They just want to get it online. They do the research. They tap it in online. They do the research. Boom, got my car. And they're going to bring me that token. I'll bring it up there. They dispense it. Boom, good to go. And then I drive off. That's luxury. So, and they keep a lot of cars. They go all the way down like this little basement thing. So, it's a future in car buying stuff. Why not? Why go through all the trouble, you know? I used to sell cars, so I know how much trouble it is. I sold Kia. The salesman, it's a torturous job too. It's hard. It's psychologically very difficult. But that's Carvana. I highly recommend it. I think it's a good thing. Go in, you order your car, and you go and pick it up. Got another Trumps. They're really good. I did put on the remastered version of The Cure, A Forest, which I think is like perfect for Deep on Ellum, the movie. It would just be great. And they have a Pill Session one that I like too, which I'll listen to next. But I really like the remastered version. It's a 1986 release, A Forest, which is great. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if I want to guess this one, but I'm just going to go throw it out there. 17 Seconds, so it's 17 Seconds album. 17 Seconds is also a really good song too. But if I'm wrong, I'll go back and correct myself. But the reason I like it is because it kind of puts you in a zone. And since the movie is about moments rather than a plot, then I like the fact that it shows more of the music. And then the kids are part of it. And there is some kind of plot in there, you know, it deals with skinheads and punks and new wavers. My character's a new waver. So that's what he goes by. He goes by a new wave. And he wears like a leather jacket, always like Depeche Mode shirts, and probably Cure shirt, which I don't really know if I had a Cure shirt. I know I went to the Disintegration concert, but my friends had Cure shirts. And my hair was jet black, and it was slick back like Vince Vega from Pulp Fiction, kind of. And I started off wearing zipper, they were called zipper sleepers. That's what the type of shoes were called. They were called sleepers. No, I'm sorry, they're called creepers. Sorry, creepers. I always called them sleepers. They were called creepers. And they had thick soles and pointy. They were pointy. And they would blister when you would dance. We'd dance all night in them, or I would. Later on, I'd get my Doc Martens. Much later on, I would get Doc Martens. But I started off with creepers, and I was a big Cure fan. I saw the Disintegration tour. Robert Smith was there. We were way back in Starplex. But anyway, Forrest plays in it when he's driving to Dallas. And it transitions from there to the club, which was known as Level 5, which is still there today. The club isn't there, but the building's there. It's like an empty building or something. It's always up for lease. And it's on the 5th level, right there, like rock throwing distance from the Reunion Tower. And we were always in this area when we would leave. And we were either leaving from Haltom, or we were leaving from Richland. And we went to Richland High School at the time. It was they were known as the A.D.W.C Rebels. They were a rebel school. They had a Dixie flag. It was later removed from the school, and now they're known as the Royals. But they had Dixie chick dancers or something like that. They were Dixieland dancers that were like the high steppers, Dixie steppers. And the team was the Richland Rebels. They were like the Confederate rebels, so they got in a lot of trouble eventually. It did make national news, and they removed the flag. But we had some problems with skinheads and problems with racism, and not really as much as anti-Semitism, because the kids were just being, they were being dark and rebellious as much as they could. There were lots of rebellion, And I saw this lady get her hair spit into, and she was a teenage girl. Someone grabbed her hair. It was a skinhead, this guy that we knew, and spit in her hair and all this mean stuff. It shows the kids kind of, in a way, sometimes being mean to each other, and it's not. It wasn't a good thing, but and there was mosh pits in the film. I think they privately moshed. Like in a garage, like a garage room and things like that. The Ramones is in it, and it's certainly not. It's not like promoting any of that, but it is showing that it was there, just like History of Project X showed it. And there's characters involved. I used some of the real nicknames and first names of a lot of the characters and stuff. And sorry, I just had to do that. It's kind of a personal piece, and usually I would change the last names. If I was talking about a character, I'd change the last names or slightly manipulate the last names so people's real names aren't exposed, but their nicknames are there. And it follows this kid from Richland going into the clubs and going back and forth from Richland to Dallas to the clubs scenes. There was Industry and Start Club. Start Club is in it, and there was Level 5, so it kind of goes out. It shows a scene where this guy gets jumped, and like the skinhead is actually not, the one skinhead is actually not like a skinhead in it, though. He was like once a skinhead, but he became kind of like a club kid with like normal hair. He looked just like everybody else, but in his past he was a skater, a punk, a skinhead, kind of like a guy with an identity crisis. And then he became like this club kid, but he talked about, everyone knew him as a skinhead at one time. But he stopped kind of doing that after a while because he wanted people to start listening to him and stuff. He was kind of an interesting character, contradiction, like a walking contradiction kind of thing. Kind of a bully was one of the main characters. And you just have to read the script. But the protagonist character's name is Ashley Cole. He's based on me. He has a red Cavalier. His friend Wessie hangs out with him. And then they get involved with it's kind of Rebel Without a Cause a little bit. They get involved with a group. Jinx and Caleb, and Jinx was a punk rocker that kind of looked a little like Billy Idol, and then Caleb was a club kid that had like, you know, normal kind of preppy hair and preppy outfit and with Doc Martens, as what was once kind of a skinhead, and got out of it or whatever, was trying to get out of it, you know. And then all this stuff happens, all these little scenes and moments and stuff like that happen. It's not really like Over the Edge, and it's not really like the other one that would be compared to, which would be River's Edge and those types of movies, because those are kind of wrapped up in kind of a plot, and these are kind of wrapped up in moments. Like a moment will happen, and then it just goes from that moment's release. There's a moment where they go and see like Fugazi band and at the bomb shelter, which is in Dallas. I'm sorry, the bomb factory. And they, I think the Ramones might be playing in it, I think. But at the time, Fugazi had come to town in Deep Ellum. It's about the Deep Ellum scene, too, so it brings in the Deep Ellum scene. There's a lot of racism that was going on, and like, this is 1989, you know? But I could probably add a lot to the script, and it could almost be kind of an American Graffiti kind of thing, because American Graffiti is more about moments. Then Over the Edge is more of a plot, where River's Edge has a plot. American Graffiti, which was Lucas's first film, or first big film, THX was actually his first, but it's about moments, you know? Stuck here for like 15 minutes. Big old work convoy, just completely. My goodness gracious. Right, they've got all of this backed up, so everyone on the bridge now is going to be completely backed up. And they're just stuck there with the work convoy. There's an arrow pointed this way. And that truck, this is like insane. He's starting to move a little bit, like right now. There's the other two that he's waiting for. Okay, finally. Okay, I don't know, I get kind of claustrophobic. I'm not going to sit there and go into detail about Deep on Ellum. It's a script, it's written. My uncle has a version, an early version of it. I'm probably going to add scenes. Probably a little bit more with the mother. So I've got some ideas about the mother too, because my mom at the time was 36. There's probably going to be some restructuring, but right now I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to try to make it a masterpiece script. I'm going to wait until I already get funding for something else and then get involved. So I'm more mature when I try to attack it. It'd be like if Richard Linklater waited to do Dazed and Confused way later, you know, rather than doing Boyhood, which took him 12 years. You know, I would rather have seen a mature, great version of Dazed and Confused than Boyhood, which he won for Boyhood, don't get me wrong. But you see what I'm saying? I'm going to be patient on Deep on Ellum and not try to rush it. Ooh, that's a cool looking car right there. When you really have a lot of love for a project or a story, you would do that, you know, if you really would. Just like Scorsese waited a very long time for Silence, which is a very important film. And if Scorsese would not have waited for a very long time to do Silence, he wouldn't have been able to do it the way that he wanted to do it. Do you see? You learn a lot from Scorsese if you listen to his interviews. You have to wait. You have to be patient, and you have to, if you know, like I'm chomping away at Grace, aka Werevlog, because I know the other stuff is going to be there. I know it'll be there. I'm confident it'll be there. Oh, why are they can't make us go to Expressway? That's not fair. Let's see if I can get off of the next one. And what's so wrong with, like, what's going on here? They just push us into an expressway. That's being pushed into an expressway, and that's not right at all. And see, this is going to get us right here. They shouldn't be able to do that. That's the express exit. Sorry guys, but this Boot Barn delivery is a B-I-T-C-H with an exclamation mark. Man, I mean, goodness gracious. More traffic coming here. They may have to call it quits and head back after this. This is like a Friday night. Is there a concert going on? Did Elvis become like reincarnated and then show up in Dallas or something? Like, what's going on? And if that happened, if Elvis was reincarnated and then showed up in, you know, in the Dallas, it would probably get some attention. You know, there'd probably be a lot of people that show up. They'd want to see the reincarnated version of Elvis. But I don't know, did the Beatles come to town? I mean, I know, like, did they resurrect John Lennon and maybe, you know, George Harrison, and they just reformed? And then, like, what's going on? It's like a war convoy behind me. They just start tearing up the highway. My goodness gracious. Trying to debate whether I should go down 377 or, I mean, it's not showing that there's traffic problems right here, so I might want to go ahead and try to go across 377, which is Denton Highway, or Old Denton Highway is what they call it, and then just keep going, because it would have, you know, there's stoppage right here, but it doesn't show, you know, it doesn't show that there's stoppage up here, even though it looks bad right here, but it should be like you go through this light and you go through, boom, you get on the highway and you're clear. And I'm only trying to get to Arlington. So whether I get another one after that, I don't know. I'll have to look at everything. This guy with the Audi right here is making a lot of people mad because he's only leaving like a little bit of room. And he's, a lot of people are honking at me because of him. I'm like, hey, there's an Audi. All he has to do is kind of back up a little bit and then just kind of turn over that way, and then a lot of people will be happy. But maybe that's why he owns an Audi, for this particular reason. I'm trying to, okay, we've got a green light. I was doing that to him, but oh well. I won't do that now. It's just we have a green light. We'll be moving forward. So, there we go. Okay, let's see if we can sneak past these people. Well, maybe the Audi guy knew what he was doing. I don't know. But he was still blocking the other people, though. Okay, got it. Okay. They're still blocking the other people that were trying to go down Old Denton Highway, you know? It's like, I've got an Audi, so I'm just gonna block you. And, I mean, I guess I kind of was too, but I got a Kia, and anyway, I was turning this way, but does it matter if the blockage, if the person's blocking has an Audi as opposed to someone having a Kia and blocking? It could be different, you know? But I know we're dealing with royalty. You know, or I'd be in Dallas right now working on Deep on Ellum with a bunch of kids, but I'm going to do that later. I got to go home and work on a werewolf screenplay. But you got to have practice. Why people were going down Denton Highway, they just pushed us. Did they really do that? Yeah, I think so. They pushed us back into an express again. And that really upsets me. And I hope they're not doing this just to increase express. There's a light here. Great. Alright, I'm gonna have to see if I can get out of this right now. Yeah, they pushed me right into the express. Because they've closed this down, and they can't do that though. So I'm gonna download the app. Right. So that's completely evil. So what they did was, I guess I'd had to have taken Denton Highway to get out of it. Then they waited the time. Well, I don't know how it exactly works, but they pressed us back into the NTTA, and then they released us, and then put us back there, made us wait more, and then pushed us back in the NTTA again. So I don't know, because of traffic, if they're going to forgive that or how they're going to work it. I got out of the free exit as much as possible, but still, it does make a difference.